Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. Oh, they're doing Kirtan, Tulsi Parikrama in West London Temple. Acha, and in Durga Hills, we still have Hari Gopal Prabhu. So good. I hope you're able to do some Kirtan in the house. Last weekend, or this weekend just passed, yesterday in fact, maybe, they went on Harinam Sankirtan in Durga Hills town. So the holy name is spreading around happily. Rajaramadiri, very welcome. Krishna Mohini in Spain, Hare Krishna. Happy to have you with us. Malati Priyadidi, all the way down in the southern hemisphere, Brazil. Okay, I need to get my specs also because everything's small on my screen. Please excuse. Okay, devotees are all joining together. Time is up, and Devashish Prabhu, I'm sure, will come soon. Chaitanya Saraswat Mat in West London is doing Tulsi Parikrama. But we can begin with an auspicious invocation, and then we'll give a greeting to everybody who's joined, but more are joining as we speak. Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Row by row by row by row of devotees, like in an auditorium. Row by row devotees seated in the auditorium. But we have Devashish Prabhu at the podium, and we also have Saraswati at a neighboring podium. But I lost, where did Saraswati go? Lost. But they're doing parikrama somewhere. I'm sure they'll turn up in a minute. So, we are now in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, simultaneously in West London and East London. And we are here together for the London Zoom. And Ananda Sundari, happy to see you there. Hare Krishna. Oh, yes, your video is on. We see you're in the hospital room. Oh, dear.
Dandavat, Maharaj.
Dandavat. We can ask everybody, everyone, please give good wishes to everyone who's in some difficulty with the body and so many things. And today, a special mention for Ananda Sundari. Please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good Vaishnava wishes to her. She's in the hospital for a checkup. All right, so Devashish Prabhu, you've given, excuse me, you've given us always a wonderful topic, and the wonderful topic that you gave us, word by word, is Krishna, is a quote, I know it's from Krishna, okay? Give me your heart, bow down and worship me, be my devotee, and surely you will come to me. This is my promise because you are so very dear to me. And of course, we know that Krishna was speaking this to, excuse me, to Arjuna, who was very dear to him. But he, in fact, is giving his message to all the devotees, to all of the devotees, to all of the faithful, godly persons. He's giving that message. And in many places throughout the scriptures, similar messages. When we come to look, then we see many similar messages. And of course, in the manifestation or the avatar, or avatari, in fact, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then really he's coming to petition every soul that come, this is the general amnesty. And just be a devotee, chant the names of Krishna. This is how to be a devotee, and come home back to Godhead. Now, I know Devashish Prabhu has got some excerpts lined up. Should I read my excerpts first in case he's got the same ones? Because
yes, Maharaj. Actually, I don't have anything lined up, but yeah, please do.
Okay. Well, it's not really a question of reading. It's a question of like sharing the words of Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj. I have from Srila Gurudev and from Srila Guru Maharaj related matter. I keep trying not to see myself on the screen, but I keep on bouncing back on the screen. I apologize, devotees, if you have to see me. I'm trying not to see me. But anyhow, here we are. Okay, dear devotees, I was thinking that most likely the Devashish Prabhu has got this excerpt from the Search for Sri Krishna, where Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, in his own very expressive way, very personal way, gives his explanation of the verse in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyajimang Namaskuru, Mame Vaishyasi Sat Mam E Vaishyasi Satyang Te Pratijane Priyo Si Me. Of one of those verses we've lost over the course of years from our memory. So Srila Guru Maharaj, in a very living way, translates this verse or explains this verse. Think of me always and become my devotee. Worship me and bow down before me. In this way, you will certainly come to me. My dear friend, I promise you on oath, I am speaking the truth. I am everything. Try to come to me. I am the goal, the fulfillment of life, not only for you, but for everyone. From the absolute consideration, my position is such. At least you are my friend. I won't deceive you. You can believe me. I promise that I am so. And what a super translation, first of all, super explanation. So Srila Guru Maharaj, in that taking the mood of Krishna, but expressing Sri Krishna's mood in this verse. And then Srila Guru Maharaj commenting, how shamelessly Krishna is expressing himself here. He has come to plead for himself so much for our benefit. And a record is kept in the Bhagavad Gita for our guidance. And Lord Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach about himself. He came as his own canvasser with his eternal associates. He even brought Srimati Radharani, devotion personified, along with him, saying, I will show how charming your position in my service is. So Krishna is coming as Mahaprabhu, but Krishna is saying, I will show how charming your position is in my service is. How beautiful and dignified the devotion of my other half can be. So come along with me. So again, this whole idea that attracting and saying, come along with me. And then Srila Guru Maharaj just adding a very short comment, 2 sentences more. And Baladev has come as Nityananda to canvas, and Vrindavan has come to canvas itself in Navadip. So we are most indebted to the canvasser, especially when Krishna himself has come to canvas and to show how beautiful, how magnanimous, and how sacrificing divine love is. So a little expansion on the, the 3 lines that we generally have as a translation for that verse. Hare Krishna manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimang namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyang te patijane priyosime. Necessary to repeat them to keep them. Hare Krishna. And there's Devashishpu, there's another quote. Well, there are different quotes. I mean, there are lots of things when we look and we think, oh, this is so good, this is so good. So this isn't directly referring to the verse, but it's from Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and illustrating to us that, we hear these things, we get the invitation, we know that it's the right thing to do. But at the root of it all is that we have freedom. So here is just a short section from Srila Gurudev, and just it struck me, and I thought that it was very relevant to the theme. That is, Srila Gurudev is saying, so Krishna is attracting everyone, yet Krishna never takes away the independence that he has given us. This can be seen as both the fortune and the misfortune, oh dear, of the Jiva souls. The Lord has given independence to all souls. From their very inception, they have the potency of thinking, feeling, and willing. This independence has been given to us by the Lord. Why? So that by our own desire and free wish, we can engage ourselves in his service. With as much power at our command, as much as we desire, we can combine everything we have and render divine service to the Lord. The Lord's feeling is, I have given you independence, and I will not take it back. If you want to serve me, you may do so. Otherwise, you can go to Maya. Actually, when I read this earlier, I was thinking of Srila Gurudev, because anyway, this definitely has Srila Gurudev's mood, and this is Srila Gurudev speaking. So, I mean, but it reminded me of Srila Gurudev also, telling the devotees, you have free will. And very much like this, if you want to serve me, but this is Krishna, you may do so. Otherwise, you go to Maya. You may do as you wish. But you will be happy if you render service to me. Why will you be happy? If you serve the eternal, you will reap the eternal fruit. If you serve the temporal, you must reap the temporary fruit. And then, to every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, as the scientist Newton said in his third law. So obviously, this is Gurudev expressing, is not what Krishna expressed. Okay, to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, as the scientist Newton said in his third law. So Krishna is saying, do my service, and your service will be done twice as well. Hare Krishna, and more things, of course, too. But we can start with these words from Srila Guru Maharaj and from Srila Gurudev, and everywhere, actually, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev point out the affectionate and shameless declarations of Mahaprabhu and Krishna, that we just need to be devotees to them, and then everything will be set right. So here we are, we claim to be devotees, we claim to be doing bhakti yoga, but we must do with substance, we must do nicely, we must do properly, follow the guidelines and follow the safe path. In other words, avoid the dangers which are pointed out to us all along the way. So this is my starting point. Oh, look at the West London Temple, lots of devotees seated there in the West London Temple. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. And lots of devotees in the what did we call it? Amphitheater? No, I don't know what we called it at the beginning. In the theater, maybe theater of the Zoom, lots of devotees here. But maybe amphitheater is good because there are so many devotees. In Vaishnava calculation, how many? I'm not sure. Hare Krishna. So Devashish Prabhu, over to you. And I see we've got our very senior Kumkum Devidasi with us also. Kirtida Didi, also a senior devotee here with us. And others, I'm sure, but immediately I'm noticing. So very big welcome to you both and to all of the devotees. Hare Krishna. Devashish.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you. And always wonderful to hear those things. And actually, this is why I chose this verse. It's actually my favorite verse from Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna seems to like that verse too, because not only do we find it in the 18th chapter, we find the same verse, slightly different, but more or less the same verse in the 9th chapter also. And Srila Guru Maharaj must have also liked that verse because he quotes that verse in Prapanna Jivanamritam as well. So, you know, it is, I like that verse so much because it gives us so much hope. Just a few days ago, I was reading Kapila Dev's teachings to his mother, Devahuti, and he's explaining, you know, the cycle of birth and death, and for the jiva soul, and the difference between the bhaktas and the ordinary non-devotees, and really, I found the whole thing quite terrifying. It was a quite terrifying explanation of, you know, what the cycle that the jiva goes through, especially his explanation or description of life in the womb. But, you know, it's actually, I just wanted to lie down in a dark room afterwards. But so, you know, there's that side of life that we know, you know, which is a kind of horrific suffering. So much so that we can't even remember it because we wouldn't be able to bear the memory of such a thing. So that small mercy we have. But on the opposite side, Krishna is saying this in a very simple, straightforward way. Give your heart to me, bow down to me, worship me, be my devotee, and surely you will come to me. And I promise you this because you are Priyoshime, you are dear to me, you're very dear to me. And yes, it's true that he's speaking to Arjuna, but if we take Arjuna, actually Arjuna is acting as our proxy in this conversation with Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. As you pointed out, Maharaj, Krishna is speaking to us through Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, and it's there. It's recorded there for all time so that we can also see that message again and again and again. And when I hear this verse or think about this verse, I feel that there is great hope for everybody. Because, you know, all of these things, like I was saying, you know, reading about Kapila Dev's teachings to Devahuti, they're talking about the almost, at that particular section, almost the impersonal, mechanical operation of life in this material universe, it isn't very forgiving. It doesn't have any conscience about the jiva's suffering or the jiva's enjoyment. It's just a law, a mechanical law that goes on, and that spins us around again and again and again. And there's no point in protesting about it, because there's who will hear that protest? The law carries on as it's meant to carry on. The law of nature doesn't say, oh, they're just a child. If they put their hand in the fire, we should spare them from being burnt because they're just a child. No, there's no such thought of that. It's the same for everybody. The same law, the same rule, the same reaction, everything the same. So, in that way, it's very, in a sense, disheartening. I find all of that very disheartening. But when we look at the other side, that we're not dealing with an impersonal, mechanical absolute. We're dealing with a personal absolute, and the most wonderful person absolute. That Lord Krishna, he is so merciful, so kind, so gentle, so forgiving, and he will never refuse us if we turn to him. He's actually waiting for that. That's why he's saying to Arjuna, I'm promising you this because you're dear to me. That means all of his parts and parcels, i.e. us, he considers to be dear to him. He doesn't just snuff us out. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written that, that Krishna is, he's fully at liberty to make or mar us. So, in one sense, you could say the faithful souls that go to him, he can, reward them and embrace them in Goloka Vrindavan. And the rebellious souls, he could just snuff them out. What would be the problem? No problem for him. But he can't do that because that's not in his nature. It's not within his nature to do such a thing. His nature is so magnanimous. Srila Gurudev said to me one time, no, Krishna, there's not even one iota of vindictiveness in Krishna's nature. It's not part of who he is. He's so magnanimous, so merciful, so kind, and so all-encompassing, all-embracing, that all he asks us is that we bow down to him, worship him, try to be his devotee, and give our hearts to him. And why we can't give our heart to him, that's the very speciality of his nature. Srila Jiva Goswami, when he's giving his explanation of the word Bhagavan, this is how he explains that the person Bhagavan, meaning Krishna and no other than Krishna, although other great souls are sometimes referred to as Bhagavan, in its ultimate sense, Bhagavan can only mean Krishna. Because he says that the actual meaning of it is that whoever comes in contact with that person, real connection with that person, they have no alternative but to offer themselves to him. That's the only response that can happen in that transaction. They must give themselves to him spontaneously. The heart will overflow in connection with that person, that loving person, and automatically we'll give ourselves to him. But because, as Gurudev said, we've been given free will, then we can look the other way from him. And that's what we do. We look the other way and try to deny him and find all kinds of ways to avoid him. And Guru Maharaj deals with this in Search for Sri Krishna very nicely. He says, we may have thought we've built up some very high walls to stop Krishna coming in around our heart, these walls we've built up. But he's a thief. Krishna is a thief, and a thief doesn't need any invitation. And when he wants to, he will enter. He will make a way to enter into your heart. And when Krishna enters into the heart, then he takes full possession of that. And nothing else, nothing that is non-Krishna, if you like, can remain there. Only Krishna can remain there. And, Guru Maharaj says, quoting, is it Julius Caesar, Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. So this is Krishna. He comes and he just takes that. He's a collector of hearts. He's a collector of souls in the most wonderful way. He's so kind. What can we say? That we know we're all fallible, sinful, and disqualified from the very moment of our inception. You can say we're disqualified by our nature against Krishna. But Krishna is Dinabandhu. He's the friend of the fallen, and we are the fallen. So who could not want such a friend as that? Again in Gita, Krishna's saying, I am the absolute. Everything is resting on me. Everything comes from me. Everything is controlled by me, and everything enters into me. I am the absolute, the supreme personality of Godhead. But I'm friendly to you all. I'm a friend to you all. But Krishna says this. Then how much more wonderful could that be? That the Lord himself is telling us, I'm your friend. You just come to me and try to give yourself to me. Oh, I'll accept that. He doesn't tell us that we have to, stand on one leg and in some painful yoga posture for so many thousands of years with our arms upraised and breathing every other millennium or something, then and making the life airs pass through our bones and, all these kinds of austerities, or even that we have to offer to him our weight in gold or offer this or offer. No. What does he say? Oh, if you offer me a fruit, a flower, a leaf, some water, if you offer that with love, I'll accept it. This is Krishna. He likes love, he wants love, and he is love. And so that's how he reciprocates with his devotees, with love. And the devotees themselves, they become overwhelmed with that love and their desire to reciprocate that love with their Lord. This is one thing that we all must admit, that every one of us has within us this desire to give love and a desire to be loved. And we look so many places in the world, outside world, and we look to our families and our friends and our children and all of these things to give us that. And maybe there is some reciprocation there of that kind, but it is nothing like what the love that we can have with Lord Krishna. And it doesn't require anything more than our wanting that. And especially now that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come, he's come to say this love of Krishna, ecstatic love of Krishna, Krishna prema, ujjala rasa. I've come to give this to you all. Just say you want it and you can have it. And it's not that, oh, well, that was 500 years ago, but what about now? This offer is still good. There's no expiration on that offer. You can still make your claim. And even those who don't want that, then Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he's there to make sure that you must take that. This deal is too good. You must take it. You must have it. You can't refuse it. And if you just take it, I'm sold to you. This is Nityananda Prabhu's approach. Just take it. Just take the gift of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and I'll be your slave. Not that we are aspiring that Nityananda Prabhu become our slave, but you understand, we can understand from this how serious he is that we should take this gift. Srila Guru Maharaj, when we were thinking of, or rather, not we, I'm using it, meaning the devotees were thinking, what would be the title of Prema Dharma Deva Stotram in English? and when it was being published, the first time in English, then Guru Maharaj, he liked this title, "The Golden Gift of the Golden Lord," and it's kind of perfect, you know. What Gauranga Mahaprabhu has come to give is the golden gift. It is the golden way, the golden path, the golden ticket, if you like, and that's available to everyone. And it's so wonderful, so encouraging, and so invigorating for us, because otherwise we must know that we're completely unqualified for what it is that we're trying to achieve. There is no possibility from our side of us ever achieving that. But that Lord, he's so merciful that when he sees that we try a little bit, if we try to do that, then he'll come forward and embrace us. This is his promise. I promise you this, he says to Arjuna. If you can't believe me, who can you believe? I'm promising you this. It's not a false promise. It's not just flowery words. It is actually the reality, and it is the most wonderful thing. And that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's come to give that even more merciful than Krishna. Krishna says, you surrender to me, give yourself to me, surrender to me, give up all other kinds of dharma or religion or duties or everything else in this world, then you can come to me. But Mahaprabhu doesn't even say that. Do you want it? You can have it. So we'll talk about surrender later on. But if you want that gift, you can have that gift. Here it is. And then you can say what? Can't think of the right word. Means that a little bit now, a little bit then, and in stages we'll receive that. And there may be those few who get it immediately and overflowing with that. And that is possible, but generally, we are followers of the slow but sure path. That we've embraced this and we want this, but we know it's a long trek for us. We know that we're deep in the mud of misconception. And so some wading through that mud must happen before we can become free of that, before we can come out of the mud. But that's okay, as long as we're going in the right direction. And, even if we fall along the way, the fact that we're going in the right direction, that will be our saving grace. Because that's what the Lord sees in the heart of his devotee, the attempt that they're making. Srila Guru Maharaj would say, virtue is its own reward. So, just the fact that you're trying is enough. And Krishna doesn't forget that. Any small thing that we try to give to him, and especially, little secret, especially if we try to serve his devotees, that pleases him even more than if we try to serve him directly. In fact, we can't serve him directly. That's impossible. But we can serve his devotees. And if we try to do that with all earnestness, then that's the same or even better than serving Krishna directly. So a very easy symbiotic arrangement, if you like, because Krishna always wants to give some service to his devotees, but the devotees, they won't allow that. No, Lord. You are our master, we are the servant, and there's no question of it being any other way than that. Then Krishna, some little, you can say, difficulty for him that he can't fulfill that. But then he's arranged it so that fallen souls like you and I, we can try to serve those devotees, those real devotees of Krishna. And in this way, Krishna becomes fulfilled. Oh, what I couldn't do, they are doing. Then I must give my mercy to them. This is a very easy thing. Our nearest approach to the Lord will always be through the Vaishnavas. So if we try to serve the Vaishnavas. And Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he said, my first lesson, or one of my first lessons from Guru Maharaj was, serve the Vaishnavas without envy. Don't be envious of the Vaishnavas. Don't be jealous of their position, but celebrate the fact that we've been given the opportunity to do some small service, insignificant service to them, because that will stand good in good stead to help us break through the maya of this material universe and take us to our original abode, our real destination, the service at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. And this verse, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuro Mami Vaishyasi Satyam Te Pratijani Priyoshime. This verse is our confirmation of that. The Lord himself is saying that. Just try that. Give your heart to me. Bow down to me. Worship me. Be my devotee. And surely you will come to me. Very beautiful, very wonderful, very heart captivating. Our Lord is the sweet Lord, very sweet, sweetest, sweeter, and sweetest Lord, Lord Krishna. And we're always eager for his mercy upon us all. So that's my contribution for this evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Now, back to you, Maharaj.
Well, I can just mention just a thought about this promise aspect. I promise you this, like this eager, pushing promise that Krishna is asserting. And also, this is also a reminder of Srila Gurudev's nature. Like, I promise you, this is real. And he's saying that if it was not real, I would have been the first person to leave. And he gave hints, not, I mean, there are some very private things, but he gave hints about his life. And he also said, I know, as like a bird flies in the sky. Something came up on my screen from Zoom. Why? I do not know. Okay, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Maharaj, yes.
Okay, Zoom is doing something. Okay, I was going to say, Srila Gurudev would say, like a bird, some of the birds, they migrate to all sorts of places. He says, I know where I have gone, but nobody else knows. So the bird also, he goes to so many places, but he knows where he's been, but not others. But Gurudev would gently mention these kind of phrases in relation to what is here. I promise you, it is real. And in this way, continuing that promise of Krishna to the present time, that really we have come to something most valuable. And out of all realities, you can say, is the service to Guru Maharaj. That's what Gurudev saw as being the tangible thing which will give us our eternal connection in the upper plane. And anybody who did any service, and Gurudev passed, of course, all service that came to him, he gave on to Guru Maharaj. And so Gurudev considered anybody who did any service, their future is guaranteed. So hopeful, this hopeful thread that's coming from above. And yes, there are many, many things. Okay, I won't, I could read some more things. We've got Kumkum Didi with us, and I think really we'd like to hear from her living experience of the reality of Krishna consciousness for many, I should say many days, shouldn't I? I shouldn't say many years, but anyway, it's for many years also. And so, Kumkum Didi, would you like to share something? And then we do have a gathering, by the way, in the West London Temple, and Saraswati Didi is there and she can say a few words. She's also one of our senior devotees in the family, and it's the London Zoom. Oh, people are getting up and leaving. Shy. Come, Didi.
My Dandavat Maharaj, Devashish Prabhu, and all of the Vaishnavas. Definitely, to me, living association means the grace that we get from these gatherings, and we get to hear from people who are so close to Srila Gurudev and to Srila Guru Maharaj. And this is our life actually now, and it's a very happy life. So this verse made me think of, as often we do, compare the way Srila Prabhupada and Srila Guru Maharaj explained the same verse. And so I looked to the Bhagavad Gita as it is for this verse to see Srila Prabhupada's purport. And it's very happy. He refers to this, the most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours, he cannot but think of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, ever the pragmatist with the disciples and the Western world who had so little understanding of what he was bringing and how to understand something. And so this talking about always thinking of Krishna and all of the activities always brings up the question of sometimes we can directly do that. We're in association with devotees. We're in the temple. We're hearing directly. And sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're at a job or a school or driving in traffic or so many things like that. So how does that give us the opportunity to do service at that time in such a sweet understanding like we otherwise get when with the devotees? And so I was just thinking how we're taught that we can always reflect on Krishna, regardless of being away from the devotee association, and in more mundane times we can see how their teachings are so perfect, and the modes of nature may be at work. There may be something that we don't like at all, or some bad reaction, which is our due, may seem that it's coming to us. However, we can still apply the humility and tolerance, and giving honor to others as they have taught us. And then we'll begin to understand that we are moving in the direction of that very sweet, sweet Lord. All of these things are his giving us opportunities to understand in a more deep way that we want to go to our home, our very sweet home.
Jai.
And you know, the quote that I had lined up fits in so beautifully with what you just said, because you're saying about our sweet home. And it's very, very short quote, and many of you read it and probably read it several times. But Srila Guru Maharaj saying, a sweet wave is coming from above to save us and take us all home. Only by the grace of the Lord's loving search for his lost servants is it at all possible. And all that is expected from us to join the search for is to join the search for Sri Krishna and march towards the divine domain. Let us join the universal march towards the divine domain, save ourselves, and go back home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Guru Maharaj, I'm sure you all know this. Hare Krishna. The call of Krishna consciousness, the clarion call of Krishna consciousness. KKKK. Now, C, those of you who know how to spell English, but if we spell English the way that the Malay people quite intelligently decided, that is that they'll spell it as it sounds. So whatever you read is as it sounds. All right. Much appreciated. And I see you're back home in your own armchair.
Maharaj, here is Keshavananda Prabhu.
Oh my goodness. Where is Keshavananda Prabhu? Can somebody make him big? Oh, he is. He is big. He's a big devotee. I mean, big devotee, senior devotee. But I needed the large screen. Keshavananda Prabhu, you know you're very close to everybody's heart here and very close to us in our thoughts and conversations. Don't think you're forgotten.
Oh, it's so sweet to hear these churned, extracted sweetness from yourself and from Devashish. I only just now arrived, so the sweet, the loving wave from above coming to, I mean, how beautiful. Just to hear that is nourishment for the heart, no doubt. And all we have to do is to turn our eyes in that direction and continue, you know, continue on through whatever life throws at us. We will continue in that as the only substantial thing, the most wonderful thing, the most astonishing, beautiful thing, and to keep that aspiration alive. So I'm so happy to see you all.
And all means lots of devotees here with you, Keshavananda Prabhu, sitting there in the London temple.
Yes.
Sometimes people make fun of me a little bit when I'm asking them, put out more mats. Don't put out just the minimum number of mats, because many people will come. And you see how many people are now here in the London temple via Zoom, maybe, but still there can be others there too. So we're very happy. We've got a whole gathering, and a gathering in search of Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful, drawn by the promise of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that just worship, as Krishna is saying, just worship me, and then you will come to me. I promise you this. I am your dear friend. I am everything. This is what we've been discussing today a little bit, Keshavananda Prabhu. And Tarit Krishna Prabhu is there?
Yes, Maharaj.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat, do you have a few scholarly devotional words for us, or heart devotional words for us on the theme, or anything to give us nourishment?
No, because I'm not a scholar. That's my brother.
Well, you must have some. I get the impression you're quite scholarly.
Maybe. Maybe in the spiritual world I'm quite scholarly, but not here.
Okay. Anything you'd like to contribute? Because we're happy to have you with us, Prabhu.
I was just thinking about what was said previously. How Krishna, we build up walls to protect ourselves from Krishna, but Krishna, he is God, so he can take down those walls very easily. But then why should we even try then? If Krishna can take us, if he has the ultimate will, why should we even try to go to Krishna if Krishna can take us whenever he likes?
And what's your answer to that?
But then it makes me think of the question of love, and that Krishna he doesn't want a bunch of prisoners in the spiritual world. He wants devotees. So I guess, yeah, we have to go with love.
Right, to utilize our free will. Krishna, we hear from Gurudev, from Guru Maharaj, that he wants us to voluntarily come to him through love, and not as like a forced, you must be here kind of thing. But you do also make a point that Priya Bhaktiprabhu actually sent me a line in Australia. I don't know if he's still with us on the Zoom. There, by the way, it's sunrise time at the beginning of the Zoom. I was thinking, oh, the sun set, but it's sunrise in Yukai, in our temple in Australia just now. So you just see how the world is. Somewhere sunrise, somewhere sunset, but the sun never sets on Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. That was an expression Srila Gurudev liked very much. But he sent me just a note saying, just as well, Krishna is a rule breaker. And on the same theme, a little bit further on, that Krishna is a thief, and then a thief, even if when we put those walls up, he can still come and steal our hearts. So yes, we have hope. It's a very hopeful time. And this time is a hopeful time, when that sweet, in particular, when that sweet wave is coming from up to down. So yes, Prabhu, definitely appreciated. Yes, Devashish Prabhu, I need to go into the gallery view. I think Keshananda was bursting to say something else. I know that expression.
I don't, I'm just soaking it in really, Maharaj. I know I was thinking in something, I don't know if it's related at all, but there's no kind of maintaining a position. There's no kind of, you're either going towards that or you're going backwards from that. It's not like there's a static equilibrium. It's either going forward or going away. So it sort of popped in my mind this time, saying something like, why would we do that? Well, it's like the option of like just being neutral isn't even there. It's actually running in the opposite direction is what happens. And we have to get over ourselves and you know, make that the focus of going in that direction, hearing from the Vaishnavas, and you know, building that temple in our hearts, and bowing down to the Lord and his devotees consciously every day. There's no, anyway, I'm rambling, but that's what popped into mind. There's no staticness. You're either going in the right direction or you're going in the wrong direction. We want to go in the right direction with our friends and family by our side, to give encouragement and good association and assistance as we, you know, traverse this life through all its trials and tribulations and highs and lows, all the things that we will encounter, no doubt. That it's only the substantial thing is the holy name that has come to us through Sri Guru, and that needs to be, you know, I need to understand that, and that's actually what it comes down to, Hare Krishna, because everything else is just a fantasy, actually. And sadly, we only usually come close to having I only come close to having some appreciation for that when it hits me, when, you know, when things are and there's some suffering in the mix, and then we realize, oh yes, this is the truth. Otherwise, we're very easily seduced by, I am very easily seduced by whatever, really, some nonsense or other, you know, that easily. So Gurudev is so gently and sweetly given everything, and very liberally given everything, given all encouragement. You take these words of Rupa Goswami and you take this mantra, you take these things and you try as possible by you, and then try a bit more than that to follow that nicely. So we're trying to do that, and of course the only way we can do that is together with the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, you know, our independence and our anyway, this is Sankirtan with Kirtan, altogether Kirtan. So though we have our solitary practice when we're chanting our rounds and these things, Kirtan itself, the Mahaprabhu's mission is altogether and wonderful, and everyone is there dancing and feasting and celebrating the wondrous, beautiful dancing Lord in his different guises. So so thank God for Sri Guru and Vaishnava, and we have to go on. And we want to go on. We want to go on. We don't want to try and, you know, just stay where we are, kind of thing. Very much.
And what you were saying about we're either going forward or we're going backward, basically, it reminded me of the example we've heard of swimming. You have to keep swimming, otherwise you sink, otherwise you go down. And the bird has got to keep flapping his wings, otherwise he goes down. So we also need to keep up our momentum, to keep on going forwards. And the temples are such a good example for this, or could be such a good example for this, to help us make our home programs in a good habit, a good structured way, like you're saying. But it's ultimately all relying on the mercy of the Lord. But we need to be hungry for that. Sometimes we read that the only thing we need is laulyam, this hankering for the mercy, that we want that, we want to be there. But when we are apathetic and just try to, you know, put it to the side, then we are not in the category of, you know, of being desperate for that, like very much hankering. So let us hanker and let us be nourished. Let us hanker and let us be nourished by the guidance that's been given to us in abundance from Srila Gurudev, from Srila Guru Maharaj, from Srila Prabhupada, from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And through them we've got Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we've got Sharanagati, we've got all these books, the books of Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. And we've got the devotees. None of us here would be here without them. And so we are the family of our masters, and we want to be good family. We want to do justice to our heritage, our tradition. Hare Krishna, Devashish Prabhu. And it's Priya Bhakti Prabhu is with us here.
Right.
It's a sunny day then, Priya Bhakti Prabhu. We look forward to a sunny day. Okay. He can tell us what the day is going to be like already. There we are. At the beginning of the Zoom, the sun was just rising, and now the sun has risen on Yukai, what would otherwise be an unknown village dot on the map, tiny dot, like a molecule dot. But due to the Vaishnavas, it's become world famous. Fame has come to Yukai due to Srila Gurudev, the pure devotees, and the mission of our masters. Yukai and Morwilumba. Who would ever have heard of Morwilumba before? So many devotees are there. A very refreshing place. So now the whole world, it flows off their tongue automatically. Morwilumba, the home of hundreds, if not thousands of devotees, hundreds of devotees at least in that area. Hare Krishna. And London, most of us have heard about London, but may its fame be that it was the place of Srila Bhakti Vinod, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, all wanted Krishna consciousness to be alive and well in London. So this is the London Zoom, and we take our hats off, as the British say, to the endeavors, the sacrifice, the seva that is going on there in the UK.
Jai. Oh, well, what can I say? We want to always keep the company of the good Vaishnavas, and we feel very blessed and privileged to be in the company of our God brothers and sisters from all over the world. And really, that is a blessing, whether it's physically together or by Zoom or, in the virtual way. We can connect with so many across the world now in such a short time, almost immediately, actually. So it's a kind of a wonderful thing that we have this technology, and we can use it for Krishna consciousness. But like everything else, we can also utilize it in Maya too. But that's always the way of everything, actually. Like a knife you can use to cut some potatoes and vegetables and offer to Krishna, or you can use a knife to stab somebody. It's not the knife is innocent. The knife is just the utility. So similarly, with this internet and so many things, it's just a tool, just a utility. It's up to you and me how we utilize that. So we can utilize it for something wonderful, like the Sangha of the Vaishnavas, to hear Hari Katha, or we can use it for, all kinds of other awful things. But we pray that we'll try to utilize it in the right way. Like everything in this world, try to utilize it for the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava. And this way, our life will become a blessed life. Oh, it is already blessed life, actually, but we should try to take our best advantage of that in the right way. So I think our time is up for this evening. So just to say, Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Right.
Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bhagya Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. All the world devotees Ki Jai. All the Vaishnava Mandali Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Haribo. And my
Jai
obeisance.
Shripad Devashish Prabhu Ki Jai and Kumkum Devi Rasi Ki Jai. All of the worldwide devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Haribo. Oh, his Nirupamar and the children just came in from upstairs here in Vila Govinda Ashram. Panchakalpatarubhyas cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavas, dear devotees, and Tota Gopinath, thank you for the sweets. Bolshoi spashibo. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Happy surprise to see you there. Oops, disappeared. Keshavananda Prabhu. Okay, Amra Ashchi, we better go home. We have homes to go to. No, I don't. We've got ashram to stay in. Okay, Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Dandavat, was that Lavanya Moy speaking?
Yeah, just driving home now, but yeah, nice. I got half of the Zoom. That's great.
Okay, I got your message that you wouldn't be there, but you're doing your duty faithfully. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, have a successful week in Saber. We'll meet again soon. Hare Krishna.